Locked in. No matter where you are. Non-stop vibes, non-stop hits. This is Flow FM 92.7.
Good morning, Ilori. You know what time it is. Wake up with us and get your day started right.
We've got the hottest headlines, trending topics, and the music you love back to back.
You already know we keep it fun, fresh, and real. Mid-mornings with us, you won't want to miss it.
We bring the energy, the laughs, and of course the tunes that gets you through the day.
Afternoon on Flow FM is where the culture lives. Music, entertainment, and all the gist that you need.
And if it's trending, you already know we're talking about it.
Stay locked in, Lauren. It's Flow FM, baby.
The night's young, the vibes are right, and we are flowing past midnight. You ready to chill? Let's go.
Listen anytime, anywhere. Stream us live, call us, send us a WhatsApp message. We're just a tap away. Flow FM 92.7, your Go with the Flow radio station.
April 2025. Welcome to the headline news analysis. I am Adeyemi.
I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey.
This morning we're joined by Nicholas Uwarunoye, who is live in the studio. Good morning to you, Nicholas.
Good morning.
It's good to be back at work officially because, we have been at work, essential workers, but it does feel very, very good to know that others are somewhere around the offices around town as well. Too. So while you sit around the offices, wherever you're listening for, maybe you're still riding on your way to work, or please, it's time for us to just analyze some of the trending national headlines that were brought to you at 7 o'clock. So let's quickly get into those stories this morning. You're absolutely free to join in the conversation as well, too. It's not restricted. The conversation is not restricted to the studio alone. You are allowed to pass comments and react to some of them, the analysis, or maybe you want to pass comment on any story. 0807 777 9927. 0807 777 9927. Please note, keep your conversation very, very clean, and let's go straight to the point. You have 60 seconds, 1 minute to make your comments so we can entertain as many comments as possible. And please, the views to be expressed is not in any way the position of Flow FM 92.7, but solely as expressed by the analyst this morning, Nicholas Uwarunoye. Let's get right into the conversation.
All right. Before we get into it, please remember that we're streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook at Flow FM 927. All you have to do is get on any of these apps and you can get in on the live action happening in the studio right now. Let's pick it up from where we were talking about yesterday. We promised to pick it up from there. The conversation about with Shitta-Bey and Nyesom Wike, Minister Nyesom Wike, where Shitta-Bey described the minister of the FCT as a bulldozer that must either be managed or avoided, and you had a comment to make. So let's pick it up from there.
Well, you see, the point I was trying to make yesterday is that Shitta-Bey, saying that kind of a thing for one who has been in governance is a bit disappointing, because you see. Governance, to be in government, does not allow for such sentiments, such nuances. You don't bring in people who have the capacity to either be a bulldozer that has to be avoided. You understand? Because you see, the government is an institution. Nyesom Wike is occupying a position. So whatever he is personally, he should keep it in the wardrobe and shouldn't allow it to, model up the political waters. That is the point I was trying to make yesterday. And secondly, I think that, being a journalist, you see, the first thing when you throw an issue, when you throw a challenge at me, what I look at is what is the news angle there and what exactly is news? The man bite dog syndrome. I mean, philosophy. That is, if a dog bites a man, there is no news there. But it's when the man bites the dog. That is so. What is out of place here? And every one of Wike's outing is out of place. So you can imagine the enormous resources that he puts into bringing media. He's been having, how many has he had so far?
Close to 5. Or
close to 5. So when does he get down to do work? Because as outside, demolition and all this urban infrastructure development and things like that, he's not the first person to do things like that. There was an El Rufai in that same FCT. He was doing it without the benefit of all this noise making. You know, so you see, look, when something is out of place, it's always good to call it out, because you see, it is weak case today. Some people find it convenient to allow him to continue to run amok over there. But when it's a different person tomorrow and is working against your interests, what do you say then? So we shouldn't create a system where what is abnormal becomes normal.
So you feel this is setting wrong precedents?
It is, and I think the president ought to call him to order. You know, look, it's a time will fail me if I start listing a lot of anomalies that has been happening around him. Don't forget, there was almost an international incident that happened. You know, where it was alleged that he shoved aside the PM of India. We are talking of a nuclear power that we are talking about. You know, if that situation hadn't been managed properly, we would have had a diplomatic, altercation with India. If you look at the video, it was quite clear that his proximity with that PM was out of protocol. You know, and there has been a lot of allegations about, his inability to control, his drinking habit and things like that, his health and all manners of things. You know, it shouldn't be happening around the presidency, the ruling power, and the FCT ministry. It shouldn't. That is what, especially at this time when, we are on tenterhooks. There are lots of suspicion going around. And we are talking of something reverberating in Rivers. Rivers is key to Nigeria's economy. You know, so that is the point I'm trying to make. I think that for one like Ayo Fayoshe, who has been in governance, he knows what political turbulence is like. You know, he shouldn't be saying that. He shouldn't be saying things like that because of his closeness to Nyesom Wike politically.
All right. Fayoshe also said something. He mentioned also, or rather, he declared his readiness to work against the PDP if the party fields a northern candidate in the 2027 presidential election again.
That is within his right to make.
Okay.
You know, because he's a PDP man. He believes that, things should be done in terms of equality, that is, this
rotational
power and things like that. That is within his right. There is no problem with that. He's now a private citizen. He's a political stalwart in PDP. So he has a right to make, that is his personal opinion. That is his choice. And he's welcome to it.
All right. Well, let's get back to, the Honorable Minister and then, the situation and development in River State. Well, during that media parley, he did say that he stated conditions for peace. And then I'd like to just pick a line away from that. It says he's willing to embrace peace if Governor Fubara comes to apologize over the political crisis in the state and it comes out clean.
Comes out clean as how? I don't understand. How much of that clean does he want? Because we know that Fubara at some point was put on the watch list by EFCC. Should he come clean on that, how he got on that list too? Will he be comfortable if he comes out clean on that particular one? Because we know he was the accountant general, was it? Under Nyesom Wike. So you see, look, this is still same thing we are saying. Some of these people, the moment they get into office, they tend to assume that every other person outside the office, every other Nigerian is just a buffoon. That they don't, we don't think clearly. But he's making a very grave mistake. Nigerians are one of the most intelligent people on earth. I say this anytime, any day, and people who are non-Nigerians will tell you the same thing. So if we decide to keep quiet, it's not as if we don't know what we are saying. We don't know what is happening. You understand? It shouldn't be saying things like he wants to pull wool over people's eyes. No.
All right, let's move on to another interesting story. Well, the President the President Bola Tinubu returned to Nigeria after his visit to France. He was received at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, by 9 p.m. on Monday night by some top government officials. And look at this. Before that time, just something yesterday or day before yesterday, Pastor Tony Bakari came out to say that he complained about the absence of the president. Now the president is back into the country. Will we see anything different? Because the president is saying he's been working even while on that private visits.
Well, apart from the fact that he doesn't buy bread and share around when your daddy comes back from
travel,
nothing will change anywhere. But that is on a lighter note. But nothing will change. Let's not kid ourselves. I think Mr. President in the last 2 years has set a pattern of how he's going to run his administration, and I think the president has made it very clear that he can run the country from anywhere. If you if you recall, I did say something that it has always been a pattern for handlers of the presidency to excuse this strange form of absenteeism. We had a case of Aunduaka, former minister of former attorney general and minister of justice, saying things like the president can run the country from the moon.
Yeah,
so yeah, of course, and of course they doubled down. I mean, the current people in office doubled down by saying that he's in perfect touch with the country, that he has moved from France to London. So what they are simply saying is that you are going to have more of those travels. That is the way I read it. You understand? It's going to happen. But you see, like I said, all these things are issues because there appears to be absence of governance at some level, especially in the area of insecurity. You understand? Because the physical presence of the president, the man in charge, has a way of instilling confidence, and removing a bit of fear from you, because when you know he's there. So when he's there, physically there, he's in it with you. You understand? Rather than somebody from outside say, sorry, don't worry, and when I come back, it doesn't inspire confidence.
Yeah, but when he's back now, does the confidence in security change? Like, the insecurity, does he feel any different now that he's back? Like, because he's in the country with us now, does he instill any sort of confidence that the president's around?
I will not be hasty to pass a judgment on that, because you see, I like giving people the benefit of the doubt. I am hoping, and I believe that Tinubu will be willing. We should see some measure of difference. If you listen to Mostwang yesterday, he said he's been talking to the president, and I read early this morning that he has dispatched the vice president to go to Plateau State. You understand? See, this is what physical presence can do. You understand? This person is number 2 man to go there, give me a first hand, and assure them that listen to them, let me know what they need. Probably that is what he has asked them to go and do. So, and if it were to be President Muhammadu Buhari, I would tell you I don't think we change. Because from day one he already had a mindset about what is farmer header clash. That is his own thinking. So he doesn't want to move away from that frame of mind. So, but this is a Tinubu. You understand? A man who understands, for me, I think he understands things a bit more. The more the changes that is going on globally. So more than likely, we might see some changes. This is my prayer, really. This is me being optimistic. But I will be disappointed if nothing changes. I will be very disappointed.
And at the same time, we've been advised to take self-defense classes,
Well, the Jigawa State governor said that is not necessary.
Okay, well, let's move to another conversation. We have the national chairman of the APC, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, disclosing that the ruling party is collaborating with the National Assembly to enable Nigerians in the diaspora to participate in future elections. He made this known on Monday while inaugurating the new executive committee of the APC France chapter in Paris. What's your reaction to that, for Nigerians in diaspora being able to actively participate in the voting process in Nigeria? They're not living here, but because they're Nigerians, they'll be able to participate.
You see, I think that would be quite significant. It's a significant development. It will be a very, very significant development. Significant in the sense that, you see, those population, they might appear a bit minuscule compared to what you have in the country, but they are very significant minuscule population. Because these are people who bring in enormous resources into the country. We are talking of FDI. That sustain a lot of families. So they have a sway in how they persuade people who are in the country to vote. So you see, I think it will be more, rigging might become more difficult by allowing diasporans to vote. Because you see, because of their, they have better infrastructures over there. So more than likely,
all right,
the Nigerian embassies and missions abroad will copy suit, make sure that things are transparent. So if there is any attempt at rigging, when they start that kind of noise from there, it tends to put more pressure on government in the country. So those are some of the fallouts that might come out of it. It's a positive fallout for me. And I think that everything, they should work post-haste to ensure that. Because people who bring in a lot of resources into the country, in terms of FDI, foreign direct investment, foreign remittances into the country, should have a say on who governs the country. So that, it eases the pressure when you have proper governance. It eases the pressure on them. If the families are doing well, then all this Japa syndrome will be reduced. Then they are under less pressure to make remittances home. And they can concentrate on doing better things repatriating something better into the country.
All right, please hold on. Let's get this call. Hello? Okay. 0807-777-9927 is the number that connects you to the studio. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So that is my take about that. It's a welcome development, but you see, they should go beyond just talk.
Okay.
Because this diaspora voting thing has been there for quite a while, almost 10 years now. They've been talking about it. So something has to be done. We need something definite.
So if my brain serves me correctly, I think this was earlier in January, coming from the Christmas celebrations, and a lot of Nigerians in diaspora traveling back home to celebrate and everything. There was I think it was Nigerian hotels, especially in Lagos, giving us a sum of money that came into their coffers, which was a lot. And then we had people saying that why are they not paying taxes when they come into the country, and there was a conversation about that.
You see,
now relating it to what's happening now, asking them to vote.
You see, the point is this. You see, you might have a bit of what there is no contradiction there. You see, these people, wherever they live, wherever they sojourn, they pay taxes there. When they make remittances, certain charges are deducted from there. So asking those people to start paying tax again, I think it was shut down almost immediately after that thing was, I think it's an insane and obscene suggestion, really.
So, but you're saying that they should be allowed to vote. That's a welcome thing, but they shouldn't pay taxes.
No, who says they are not paying taxes? When they make their remittances back home,
certain deductions.
Certain deductions are made. No, when they come into the country and they buy,
does that deduction, does it translate into, or does it get into the coffers of the country, or
that is not their fault, really? Because don't forget that there is what you call VAT, value-added tax. That when they buy, subscribe to certain services within the country, they pay taxes. So, and they are earning their money not from Nigeria. It's only when they earn money from Nigeria that they have to pay tax.
All right, hold on. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Danny.
Yeah,
it's Danielle.
It's Danielle,
here.
Dyer, and Nicholas.
Yes, and Nicholas, my encyclopedia.
Good morning, sir.
This is Mr. David calling from Shao.
Okay.
You see, on the issue of a Fayose statement, what Fayose was trying to bring out of that statement is a simple, straight thing that any northern candidate being presented or try to contest under the PDP will work against the party. That is just the simple language. It is not only him, including Wike, including the former governor of Benue State, and many other stakeholders. So if PDP they are really interested in coming back to lead this country, they should pick a candidate from the south, either from the southeast or the south or the southwest. You see, the southwest and the southeast and south, we must work together. At least to make sure that we get what we deserve in this country. Because it is a situation whereby the more we contribute, the less we receive. So I think that is the cause of the cause of the matter in PDP. That's what I was trying to drive out.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Davids. Thank you so very much. The headline news analysis is hosted by Danielle, and his guest is Nicholas Onwaronoya. The number to call is 0807 777 9927 0807 777 9927. Let's still on the diaspora issue and conversation where we let Nigerians in diaspora. My question is, will it cut across all countries where Nigerians are residents, and then they'll be able to vote from there?
Well, you see, that might be a tall order, really. They could start piecemeal, like places where you have more concentrations of Nigeria, like the US, the UK, Germany, France,
Canada.
Canada, you can start from there. And it shouldn't be that much. It shouldn't be that much of a problem, really. So because over there they have a better planned economy and demographics. They will be able to delineate exactly where Nigerians are concentrated and tell them to, if you want to vote, you can come to certain places and certain social place and things like that. Effort must be made to make it transparent, please, because it is so easy, of course, what is happening in the country where, voters' registers are inflated to reflect to reflect votes that were not cast. So that should not happen, because it will now amount to taking our shame out there.
All right. Again, with this responsibility will be on INEC
definitely
first, and then again, would there be a different server to receive the votes cast from Nigerians in the diaspora? Is it going to go into the same server?
Well, you see, that is more of an IT development, which I'm not an expert at, but I think there shouldn't be any reason why you separate it. It should be in the same server, really, but at least with a demarcation that these are from, the diasporians in so place, and things like that. It should show exactly, what part of the country that vote is coming from, the number of registered voters, the number of people who registered that morning to vote, and of course the vote cast.
Lastly, do you think Nigerians in the diaspora are, since totally in touch with the situation on ground in Nigeria?
That's my next question. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
for them to be able to know exactly, make a decision on, because they're not necessarily. It's not. Maybe they have family members here, experiencing what it is, and maybe can feed them with information. But I feel like things that are not directly, involving you, like you're not feeling it personally, you might not necessarily be in touch with it for you to make informed decisions.
Let me tell you. Let me make a confession to you. Of course, you are free to fact check me if you have relatives out there. I think they are under more pressure than us to see that thing works in the country, and they know that the only way out is to effect change in governance. Because you see, let me tell you. You see, those guys are not having it easy. Because we are talking of people working multiple shifts. It's not as if that place is a bed of roses. They only have better infrastructure and they have jobs available, but you work yourself almost to death to earn good money. You understand? And of course, the tax, is not something they look forward to coming back to this country. I know about 4 or 5 different relatives, people that are very close to me, repatriating things to make, building houses and things like that, hoping that at some point they will come back into this country. They wouldn't want to do all those investments to come back to a country that is poorly run. No. So more than what you see, because, and again, the easiest form of revenue generation for most homes is these foreign remittances, especially when you talk of people from Niger Delta, Southeast, Southwest. You understand? They have a lot of people who are there. Imagine what it's like. You get $10, $50. 50 pounds, for instance, is 140,000 or thereabout. Something like that. So, that kind of a thing, to get that kind of money, it might appear as if it's easy. You understand? When somebody gives you $50, and you go and convert it to about 140 or 104,000 naira, it's huge. You understand? So that's why they make calls to them regularly. So those people out there monitor the situation. They see the inflation, they see the food inflation, they see the insecurity, they see the cost of living in Nigeria. And of course, you see, blood is thicker than water. They have to make remittances. So while they are making that, they feel the pain of poor governance in the country. So they want to do something directly. That was why if you look at the trend in 2023, there was a lot of diaspora influences and the choices being made in the country. A lot of diaspora influences was, that is why you see a lot of these presidential candidates going to Chatham House. If it wasn't that relevant, they wouldn't be going there. You understand?
Sorry to botch you, Mr. Nicholas. Let's get this call. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Danielle. Good morning, Dara.
Good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Ikon.
All right, please, you have the floor. Go ahead.
I listened yesterday and today, and I'm going to be honest. I don't think Nicholas has any business apologizing for what he said yesterday about Adedayo, to be very honest. For me, I will use the same word he used. That is something a coward would say, to be very honest, right? And if you follow Adedayo politically for a while now, you know that she has always been like a stooge, like a baby ally. He is weak. It's more like he's scared of him or something. So honestly, I'm not even surprised by him making such a statement. All on the issue of diaspora Nigerians voting, I don't think it works for me. We have 200 million people in this country, and INEC can't even make provision for 200 million of us who are physically here with them. Want to burden the same INEC with making provision for people who are living abroad. If I live if I'm from Anambra, from Enugu, and I live in Kwara State, I vote in Kwara State. I live in Kwara. My wealth card is in Kwara. My business, my work, I pay my taxes in Kwara. Honestly, I don't know why I would want to go to Anambra to go and vote when I don't live there. When whatever the government does, it doesn't exactly reflect on me directly. It reflects on my family members who live there. That's why the ones who should be doing the voting, who should be making the right decision. Because I don't want to go into stuff if things don't go well. To be very honest, I am not a fan of diaspora voting. Like, Nicola is not saying that they should not start from places where Nigeria are more populated: Canada, UK, US, France. Come on. What about those who are living in Lithuania, in Austria, in Iceland, in New Zealand? Like, let's just forget about the whole diaspora thing completely. We are not even ready for it. We should just stick to those. And if you make provisions for the 200 million people who are living in this country, who they have been disenfranchising for so long, and let's not forget about diaspora voting. That's what I say.
Thank you very much.
I thank you, Zikora, for that. Well, he did make
Zikora.
Yeah, he was saying things like, to him, anyways, he doesn't feel the need for. And
I understand where Zikora is coming from. I understand where Zikora is coming from. You see, when you see the kind of is it administrative ineptness with which we go about our voting registration and all those things, it's very disheartening. But you see, Zikora, if you are still listening to me, let me say something. You see, for one who has covered election for a very long time, and I worked in Abuja, I worked in Lagos, at some point I covered INEC. I know very well that if INEC sets its mind to capture every single Nigerian of voting age, they can do it. You see, all those hitches, all those glitches you are seeing are contrived. That's the simple. It's the simple truth. You see, it's just like we are talking of. Every day the GSM organization are rolling out their SIMs. If you want to buy 1,000 SIMs today, you can get it, and you can capture 1,000 people. It's that easy. But you see, the problem is that there is always that fear on the part of people who are in administration, not for the process not to be hijacked. There are a lot of interests, that makes it almost impossible for them to do the proper thing. You can imagine a situation. Look at what happened, during the election. You have in some areas where you have more than enough capturing machine. In one place where you have multi-population, you have just one. I know of a place in Ilorin, somewhere around, during that, when they were doing that capturing, people around that area had told me that they had to pay some INEC officials to bring machine to certain places to capture people. Should it be that way? So how much are those machines anyway? You understand? So these are just some of the problems why it appears as if diaspora voting might appear to be a tall. It's not a tall dream, my brother. You understand? If INEC wants to capture every single Nigerian abroad, they can do it. But you see, the moment the will is not there, then you start seeing all manners of glitches, all manners of, hiccups here and there. They are all contrived to make it look like it's impossible, that it can't be done, which will mind you the lead to they can control. That is just the point. So, but you like you rightly said, something ought to be done. Some kind of campaign ought to be mounted to ensure that INEC clean up their act properly in such a way that most Nigerians of voting ages are properly captured. This idea of once you move away from, you can't vote elsewhere. What is all that? When I have, if I have my SIM, if I have what's it called, this card that you use to withdraw money, ATM card. If I leave this place and travel to Kano, I can use my either Zenith to withdraw money. So why is it so difficult for me to use that same card to vote anywhere in Nigeria? So it's an IT. It's about IT solution, and there are more than enough people who can deal with this. Well, this is money. 1 million, 1 billion in an account. Nobody steals your money. But when it comes to voting, you are now saying we should be careful. What? It's nonsense as far as I'm concerned.
All right. I'm Nicholas. Because of time, we need to just step aside this morning. But again, Zikora was raising another important point why he feels it's not necessary, and many Nigerians will probably want to share the sentiment that INEC has not taken care of the situation in Nigeria, and then You're talking about capturing the Nigerians in diaspora. I want Nigerians on ground who are disenfranchised in a way feel some kind of way about INEC. Even if a lot of Nigerians perceive INEC to not be a very, very, very upright in their dealings.
I don't think Nigerians will feel that way. I think that they are even going to welcome it. People who are making remittances to them, you are saying they can't vote? Oh, come on. No.
I still feel the type of way, honestly.
No, of course, we can always open the conversation tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Thank you so very much. Our time is for spent. Nicholas, thank you for your time and coming into the studio this morning to have the conversation on trending national stories. We're sure to be back tomorrow, God willing. 8 to 8:30. I am Adeyemi.
And the views expressed is not in any way the position of Flow FM 92.7, but as expressed as the analyst Nicholas this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Here to and beyond. One station keeps you locked in, no matter where you are. Non-stop vibes, non-stop hits. This is Flow FM 92.7.
Good morning, Ilori. You know what time it is. Wake up with us and get your day started right.
We've got the hottest headlines, trending topics, and the music you love back to back.
You already know we keep it fun, fresh, and real. Mid-mornings with us, you won't want to miss it.
We bring the energy, the laughs, and of course the tunes that gets you through the day.
Afternoon on Flow FM, it's where the culture lives. Music, entertainment, and all the gist that you need.
And if it's trending, you already know we're talking about it.
Stay locked in, Lauren. It's Flow FM, baby.
The night's young, the vibes are right, and we are flowing past midnight. You ready to chill? Let's go.
Listen anytime, anywhere. Stream us live, call us, send us a WhatsApp message. We're just a tap away. Flow FM 92.7, your go with the flow radio station.